Ramadan Timetable, brought to you by Haas Petroleum.
رمضان أقبل فالقلوب مريضة والنور أمسى خافتا بكياني. قل لي متى يأتي الصباح بنوره ومتى ننصاع للإحسان. رمضان أقبل فالقلوب مريضة والنور أمسى خافتا بكياني. قل لي متى يأتي الصباح بنوره ومتى ننصاع للإحسان. رمضان رمضان رمضان، قل لي بربك هل أتيت برحمة وكذا سرور العتق من نيران. فيك الأماني والمودة تلتقي وتعبق الأرواح بالقرآن.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Kwa majina kamili nafahamika kama Abubakar Farid, mkazi wa Kitui, ama youth leader na motivational speaker. Ningependa kuchukua fursa hii kuwatakia Waislamu wote Ramadhan Mubarak.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. My name is Amal Latif and welcome to Nasaha kwa Umma. Today is on the 27th of April 2022 on a Wednesday. Today in the studio I have my special guest host, Mark Kiarie, and we have a guest as well, Peter. So on today we're going to speak about youth and sports, a topic that is going to be very exciting. I will give Peter a chance to introduce himself and a chance to tell you about himself. So Peter, welcome.
Thank you. Foremost, I would like to thank Al-Huda for hosting me today. My name is Peter Lichungu. Lichungu in Luya means panya. Lichungu maanisha panya. Wengi nikicheza mpira walikuwa kiniita panya na kasirika, lakini nakuta inakwama the more. Yes. I played for FC Leopards. Maybe I should start with my primary school and then I come up. Okay, I went to Pumwani Primary School here in Nairobi. Then from one I joined Upper Hill School. Then I was at Upper Hill for a year, but my dad never wanted me to play football, so he made sure that he transferred me to very far away to Kakamega, not knowing that he's taken me to the hub of football. Yeah. So I joined Kakamega School in 1978, and that's where I started making a mark in football. In fact, at one time my dad, when we used to go for halftime or when we close school, I never used to come to Nairobi. He didn't want to see me come to Nairobi. Maybe the most wise decision I ever did is when I finished A-levels. FC Leopards approached me, and then my dad was an official of FC Leopards. And for the first time in my life, my dad called for a press conference in the house. Right. And he said, my son has made a very wise decision. Yeah. But my dad never wanted me to play football. So he blessed me in 1982. Then maybe 2 years later, FC Leopards, the time I joined the FC Leopards in 82, we won the league, we won East and Central. 83, we did the same. Then 84. That's when my dad died. In fact, he was watching. He died while watching. In those days, would be KBC or be the radio, on the radio or on KBC television. Mm-hmm. So that's when my dad gave me blessings to play football. To play football, but it was so difficult. Mm-hmm. In fact, I was going to make a mistake to join Gor Mahia. Mm-hmm. I was warned by my mom. Never mention that name Gor Mahia in this house. So, because your dad is just too mad. If he hears this, now it will be double tragedy. Yeah,
and Carrier, if you could have given us a history, sorry to cut you short, if you could give us a history of how football was in the time that he used to play. Mkiangalianga KBC TV, ama mkisikiza radio, how was football at the time?
First and foremost, I'm happy to see a legend. Yeah. Unajua Kenya tunasemanga legend, but I think that legend is a misplaced word. Yeah. And I'm really happy that he's actually wearing just a legend, given by no other than the president himself. Yeah. So wakati wetu kina PETER LICHUNGU when they were playing, si ndio tulikuwa ball boys. Tulikuwa tukienda pale City Stadium, tulikuwa tukiwaenzi. And those days the radio was the medium. So those days we used to surround ourselves kwa radio, tunasikia the broadcast. And I think ilikuwa na a lot of the oomph. You could actually feel uko kwa kiwanja. Now back then football was a community affair. Like was Saturday, wakati wa mpira, when a Saturday afternoon, most things in the villages, most things in the neighborhood stopped. Radio inakuwa katikati, tunasikiza, tunaketi chini. And remember, because kulikuwa na protocol pia kuketi chini, wazee pia wanakaa karibu.
The day before, mlichukua mabatri mweka ipate moto.
So for me, I'm happy to see, and actually to also relate and sit next to mtu kama PETER LICHUNGU, because hizo miaka amesema we were young men, we were small boys actually when he was playing. But for me, what strikes me most is the passion they had. Nyakatizo, I think the energy towards the game, and more so being a community affair. The mother, my aunt, it was a whole day. Kuna siku aliniambia one time ago when AFC Leopards lost, I think there was a sober mood, kukungefikiri kuna matanga. Kukumbe it's just that AFC had lost. That is just how passionate they were, and not just, and now trying to relate to kukuja kidogo. No, I think that passion somewhere along the way, labda tatueleza, kuna pani ilifika ikakatika. Something happened, along the way.
Yeah, just to go back to, you was talking about Gor Mahia, uliambo usilete hiyo jina mko hiyo nyumba yenu kabisa.
Kuna wakati unajua, I used to admire Bobby Ogola so much. He was my favorite in the opponent's team. In fact, he made me to move from number 8 to number 4. Yeah, and then during those days, when the derby was going to, like now we are waiting for the derby anytime now. It will happen in Kisumu. Gor Mahia has taken FC to Kisumu, so you can imagine how the stadium will be full. Yeah, and that day will be people are waiting for Christmas. Kitu kama yama now people like the
But I hope this time kutakuwa na violence. It gets very heated.
Yeah, it gets very much heated. Yeah. Maybe I will touch on now on how I started off, and like as I told you, my dad never wanted me to. He really wanted me to be a doctor. He was a psychiatrist by profession. So, and you see, in the end, during those days, unaambia utakuwa daktari. ati mimi nitakuwa na wenda azimu tu anakuja kwa nyumba ulikuwa unakuja kwetu sasa shida sasa hii ni kazi gani father na mimi kwe so father nataka nikuwe daktari na mimi hapa nataka kucheza ball it was a challenge, and that's why I have liked to parents who are listening to me to give their children time to also select
which type of path they want to go to.
Yes, and I'm glad that the government has come up with this thing, CBC, which
we will talk about it.
It will really assist so many. You go to Europe, people don't waste time. People start their careers very early. They identify you as a hockey player very early. They identify as an athlete very early.
And to go back to your story, you say that you had gone to Kakamega as a young boy, and that's why you were trained to become an athlete. So what was the criteria behind that? How were you picked? What, because you know, like I think right now ukiangalia watoto wakitrainiwa, they're just trained for their schools, not for a brighter future.
During our days, we had a football program, youth centers. The government had introduced youth centers all over the country. The only thing they did, they never considered women, and now it has become, you cannot have a team in the Premier League without women team, youth team. But during our time, we had the youth centers, which was started off by Germany. Germany came in, sent in coaches, and I think I was glad to be, lucky to be in one of the team, in the team that went to Germany in 1978. Yeah, we went there, youth players, myself, Kina Mlamba, Kina Ayoi, when we were very young. And that really helped me a lot. Because in Germany, we went through a lot of medical checkup and all that, and how a footballer should eat, what kind of training we should be doing. And that really developed us. Because at 18, I was already informed I was playing in the Premier League.
Wow.
Yeah. I came back, I joined the Minister of Works of Kakamega. At the same time, playing for the school and the Minister of Works. So immediately I finished O-levels, A-levels. I came to Nairobi. And those days, parastatals like Kenya Railways used to also absorb footballers. So I had an opportunity to join Kenya. And luckily, I thank Kenya a lot for developing me. Apart from being a footballer, I also developed a career. Yeah. So at the same time, playing football, and on the other hand, pursuing a professional career. So I'm qualified in supply chain management. I did the CIPS UK. And after I left now Kenya, I went to Kenya Airways. Now Kenya has offered me even now an opportunity to go and even finalize in UK for that course. Yeah, because I would get free air tickets to to UK.
Good,
And I would want to tell these young players or upcoming youth that there's life after football. And football has a limit. Like I started off at, any footballer can start off at 18 years, then add 10 years. After that, you are on your way out. So you can imagine 10 years in active football. And I think I was lucky because I started off in the Premier League when I was in Form 2. That was a very early age. I would like to advise these young players that there is life after football. There's time to play football, and then there's time also to pursue your professional studies. Yeah, because the two go along together, hand in hand.
I know that you have like an institution or an organization that you nurture talents as well when it comes to athletics and sports. So what can you derive from that time, and how do you put it into your academy?
One, I think it's also to thank Peter again for bringing an issue of Olympic youth centers. So those are the nurturing places for upgrowing youth. And those are the kind of conversations that now we need to start re-engaging again. Kumbuka back then, na amesema vizuri hapa, that those were the Olympic youth centers which nurtured him, which identified them, which took them to Germany, which nurtured. Now, in this squeezy, we don't have that very much growing up. One, kumbuka, the spaces, the growing fields are becoming less and less because of urbanization. So children don't have as much playroom. Number two, at some point we had a lot of emphasis on academics. Kumbuka ile siku PE. Na kumbuka PE unaambiwa that will be double maths. You're going to catch up. So PE was being taken as literally it's idling time. So number three, there's something Mr. Lichungu has mentioned about balancing act between sports and academics. In our time, though, I remember the people who excelled in sports also excelled in academics. There's actually a correlation, something that we'd like to chunguza baadaye. One, people who are in drama club, music club, sports, debates, somehow there was a correlation, there was some mental synergy that also excelled them in academics. Number four, from what to do as Fariji, we use sports as a transformational tool. We use sports to engage the community. And walking around with people like PETER Lichungu, people of the history, wale watu ambao tunasemanga we rely on the history to build on the tomorrow. I'm also encouraged by the fact that amesema there's life after football. That he actually did a degree course. He actually balanced a career while still engaged in active football. What am I saying about the hour to the squeezy? That sports alone is not an end. Amesema there's a 10-year window. Amesema 10-year window.
Yes.
Okay. If you're lucky, or that's if usipopata injury or something. So for me, I think the greatest take home is to first encourage the youth to take up sports when they are young, to identify what you can do. Is it swimming? Is it hockey? Is it basketball? Number two, nurture it. Then, as is how the academia end, because I think those two, Mr. Lichungu anasema, they go zapelekana. Ya mwisho is is about vilametaja CBC. Na just before we delve into it deeper, I think the government has got a foresight, 5 years, 10 years, that now we stop also churning out tunasema academics. Naona institution like TVET, sahi they are coming out very strongly. Plumbing, kazi za mkono. You see, in fact, a conversation I was in with other legends, like huyu, walikuwa kisema, they just released KCP results. All the interviews that were being conducted, everybody was saying, I want to be a doctor, a neurosurgeon, a lawyer, all those. We didn't hear someone saying, I want to be a sports administrator. We didn't hear someone saying, I want to be a chef. We didn't hear someone saying, I want to be an interior design.
And that's actually true. Like if I was to look at myself and when I used to be in primary, just a few years ago, I think about 7 or 10 years ago, we used to, all you want to do is become a doctor.
A doctor,
and you know, an engineer, you might be getting a clean 300, but class unaona mtu anachora vizuri, but I think it's what we have been, what our parents, like what your dad is, the perception, and the conflict of interest. They want to live vicariously through us instead of like allowing us to be.
Peter's father, and that's what I'm getting to. Peter's father was a psychiatrist at Mathare Hospital, so alikuwa kitibu watu. So in his mind, he wanted his son to follow him in the clinic. But then Peter had a different idea, had a bigger talent and a bigger dream. The children today, we have very good artists. watu. Last week we hosted on this show one of the actors of Mother-in-Law, Mr. Jack. And after that, earlier on we had hosted the head librarian at Kibera, Kenya National Library Services. We managed to go there. The children there, they are artists.
Yeah.
They do this spoken word. They don't go spoken word. They do it very well. And those people, board games. Because when you talk about sports, see football peke yake. We're also talking about athletics, hockey, but we're also talking about board games, chess. Scrabble. You know, things that also drive your...
Yeah, it boosts your intellect.
Boost your,
yeah.
You remember during our times, your father would really supervise to make sure that you are umefanya homework, umefanya nini.
Yeah.
Maybe my time, watoto wangu me, I just led by example. Because I started going back to school in my old age, so I'll do it by example. Na chukua nafanya homework zangu
za shule.
Sawa, wengine ngoja na watoto wanakuja kuniangalia na shule, dada anafanyaga nini? Nao pia kaanza kufuata mtindo. In fact, most out of about two of my children, one, those days when computer started coming in and whatever to ile mgongo mturele ile computer sasa ile mgongo hiyo the first one kuuzwa na Kenyari, nikaenda nikanunua nikaleta kwa nyumba. So out of that, two of my children walichukua IT.
Wow. We cultivated the interest from a young age.
Then the two have pursued the same course I did, the supply chain management.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow, okay.
So in my time, I never had a problem in making my children go to pursue education. They just, I did it by example. I used to do it every time with my books.
Yeah.
And I'll do that.
Lakini pia legend, and so that because there's pale mtaani tunaongeanga about nutrition. There's something that inaletanga pressure sana pale mtaani. Because you people during your days, when I say you people ni hiyo enzi yenu, you people, you are physical, when you used to actively participate, when mlikuwa
kama kwa mfano for you to play for a club like Leopards, lazima uwe na ile mental preparedness. One. Na lazima uko na nguvu. Physique lazima. Hiyo, what does it call for? Because coach atakupeleka mbio. Tuko na kimbeli kiwanja nini Jamhuri Park. Sio vile iko kubwa ile ya farasi ile. Si tulikuwa tukimbia Jamhuri Park. 24 laps.
A day.
Yes, 24. No, unacheza hiyo mpira.
Just that is before you play.
Physical fitness. Yani ukienda kula chakula, yani unakuwa na time ya kukula hiyo chakula. Sababu najua hapa ni mazoezi. So kulikuwa na ile coach, unajua sasa the more your body ina suffer, the more ina demand for that particular kind of food. Utaenda tu kula pale rice,
hawezi
ugali, nyama na kunde, mboga za kienyeji, hizo tu ndio alafu enough sleep. So unamaliza hivi, umeenda kupumzika mahali, unyamaza tu, hata kelele sikue. Ndio kesho uende mazoezi. So you can imagine those of us who used to work, so unafanya double job. Utaenda ofisini, kutoka kwa hiyo kiti ni ngumu sababu zile misuli zinauma. Wewe kutoka hiyo kiti unafanya kazi, you give to your employer kazi unafanya.
And how long did it take for your body to adapt to that intensive training? Because that's very intense.
Yeah, it was it took some time. And then those days the two clubs, Gorma and FC, were the only known clubs all over.
Yeah.
And then we would participate in East and Central, Africa Club Champ. So all the time we were flying out.
You're traveling.
We were traveling. So it could not, okay, for example, me, I had a call up in the national team, but I was not able to join the national team because my employer, those days you had to get permission from your employer to go and turn out for the national team. Or to go and turn out for AFC Leopards. And you find mostly, most employers were either fans of Gor or or AFC. So if there's anything to do with those two clubs, you get permission very fast.
Very fast. And to go back to the whole diet situation, like when you look at the youth currently,
yes,
the sportsmen currently,
yeah,
chakula yenye mlikuwa mkikula na chakula yenye sisi tunakula sasa hivi are two different things. How can you see, what is the difference that you can see from what you were eating and what they were eating?
Watoto wa sasa hivi wanakula vitu zingine hata unaweza shindwa nini, hata wana nguvu. Sisi wakati wetu tulikuwa traditional food. Hata tukienda maji hakuna ati nini, kocha yeye ametravel huko kitamba, amejua wachezaji wao watakula nini. So chakula ile tunakula coach sienda na tukimbisha kwa kiwanja, anajua nini tunakula.
Yeah.
Atutoke tu hapa vile wachezaji wa sasa anatoka tu kidogo, ameingia pale amechukua mtura ameuma. Hapana. It's not allowed.
Yeah.
Sababu coach akienda kukimbisha kesho, utapata tumbo, yani utaanza tu kwa kama umekula chakula tofauti, ujue tu tumbo itakusumbua.
Na nini na Lichungu, because you really traveled wakati wenu. Did you have a chance, labda, and this I'm just asking, labda to kubeba chakula hapa, because perhaps you visited countries, I mean labda ulienda Europe ama those countries where hakuna ugali ama kuna kunde.
Labda tulienda na nini, tukaenda kucheza na Leventis ya Nigeria. That was Africa Club Championship semi-finals. Tumeenda Nigeria. Tukabeba unga, tukaenda na huko. Sasa unajua Nigeria wanakula fufu. Sasa wakaenda wakachange ugali yetu na
fufu.
Wakakula yetu.
Sio mnashangaa mbona ugali ni pesi hivi.
Sasa kufika kiwanjani jamaa wakashindwa kukimbia. Si hapo mkula ugali na kama ujazoea kula ugali. Na ukule. Lazima kutakuwa na change.
Tukawashinda.
Tukachapa, tukaenda tukacheza na Asante Kotoko, tukatoa Asante Kotoko, ndio tukafika na El Ahly semis, ndio tukatoa.
So chakula, so mlikuwa mkijibebea chakula,
unga na beba kutoka hapa.
Kutoka hapa airport unabeba unga ile pembe ile jogo ile ndio mnaenda
kwa jogo tu. Jogo hapo.
Mnaenda nini? So the reason why tumeuliza hivyo is, and I think is also from me and the host here, ni sahi there's a joke around, let's say, football. Mtu hizi piga free kick kutoka hapo kwa goli ifike the other end
18 hawezi.
Sasa nakumbuka Mahamud Abbas, Omar Shaban, Busolo, those guys walikuwa kigonga mpira from,
hata ukiangalia mwili, ukiangalia Abbas, sio walikuja most hivi. Sio nani mwili yake hiyo? Unakuta mtu anavaa kiatu namba 8, between 8 and 11. Na watoto sahihi wanavaa namba 6.
Number 6, number 5.
Ndio ball namna gani? Ndio mwanzo kwa tu hiyo jambo.
No, because for me as Fariji, hiyo ni nutrition naona pia there's someone who told me one day about swimming. Akasema back in the day those swimmers physically alikuwa akipiga 50 laps easily bila pressure.
Hata sisi tulikuwa wengine ndio kama mimi naogopa maji. Tulikuwa tunaenda Mombasa. Coach anafanya tukimbie kwa maji. Wazaji ushakimbia kwa maji? Yaani kukimbia. Uzito maji
una race against.
Yes. Wow. Unakimbia hata kwa beach. Hiyo mchangarawe, kukimbia kwa changarawe. We used to do, tukisema na Mombasa unasema tu
na hiyo joto
jua makucha zitavunjika sababu hiyo. So tukienda kutrain Mombasa, hiyo timu itapata shida. Ile tunaenda kucheza nayo. Watu wako fit. Sababu ukitoka tu kwa hiyo maji, unatafuta pale pa kulala tu unyamaze. Ukisikia kengele ya chakula imelia.
So Mombasa si holiday. Mombasa ilikuwa torture.
Ilikuwa torture.
So because you see, because that's what I think hapo ndio nimetilia mkazo sana, because someone told me that the swimmers of today, for example, mtu akipiga lap 4, 5, 6 anahema na kuisha. Kitambo alikuwa kiniambia guys who are boxers, who are footballers, they also used to swim as part of,
na tulijuana wote kina Napunyi kina nani. There used to be a day in the year we all assemble at one place, Kasarani. All the sports fraternity. Tunakutana siku hizi kitu kama ifanyike. hata watu wamesaulika. In fact kama mimi nashukuru sana after a long time. How many footballers wamekuwa during my time? Ni wengi. So for me to be considered kutunukiwa kuwa shujaa, to me hata nikasema hey God, kweli umenikumbuka. Because ni Mungu, sababu tuko wengi. How many players were there during my time?
Very many.
Very many. But kupata kutunukiwa tena kutoka kwa His Excellency, ni kitu kubwa. The only thing that wamekosea kidogo ni ile, in any country anybody with a national anthem imepigwa, inaimbwa na umesimama, those guys are automatically on retirement salary ya nchi. Ende nchi yote watu wanapatiwa, wewe national anthem ilimbwa, umeletea nchi vikombe ngapi? Kama kwa mfano mimi can comfortably say I've won in FC with it's and Central about 6-7 times. Runners up sijui mara ngapi. Africa Club Champ tulifika semi-finals. Wakati Gor Mahia ikichukua Mandela Cup tulifika semis. Tulifungwa na El Ahly ya Egypt. El Ahly ikachukua nini? El Ahly tulitolewa na nini? Na El Ahly. El Ahly ikaenda kucheza finali na ilikuwa na timu gani ya Nigeria. Alafu league ya Kenya nimeshinda sijui mara ngapi. Out of the possible 14 FC imeshinda, mimi nimeshinda league 7.
So basically legend. So basically, by the time His Excellency anakutunukia he for sure you deserve it. But I also need to ask you, manake we always talk of legends. Unajua tunasemanga waliobombea but jina legend.
It has been misused.
Waliobombea hiyo
jina. Not anybody. Unajua kuchezea bendera ya Kenya, umepata kikombe, umewakilisha. Kama mimi I would say I played along kina George Weah, Roger Miller, Kalusha Bwalia. The other day tulienda kwa conference ya Kefwa. Tulienda Ivory Coast. So sisi tumekaa mimi na Muyoti tunaangalia na uliza mazee, watu wa Egypt wanakuja wanaongea tu na president wao, kina Mo Salah wanaongea tu na president wao kwa simu. Kasema sisi tutaongea na sisi kwetu nani utapigia simu, hata nani anajua sisi kutoka ministry tumekuja upande hii. Watu kumekuwa comfortable. Drogba ametupatia, imagine mnatembea na huyo jamaa na watembea around, unaangalia hii shati mzuri, you want to buy that, you want, I pay. Sisi ndio tumekuja na ngiri moja tu ndio iko kwa mfuko. Sasa jamaa wanapatiwa pesa.
Kuna hiyo difference in priorities. Hata tukiangalia sasa tukienda CBC ama tukiangalia hata CBC saizi 844 was there for almost like 20 years. The prioritization of sports and other activities such as drama and ilikuwa imewekwa hapa chini. Imesahaulika kabisa.
This will create employment. Like show hii mambo lazima youth wajapata job nini. You can imagine. Na hii ni self employment. Utajiangalia alafu serikali iangalie, wajue wachezaji wa mpira wanachukua muda gani ndio waache kucheza mpira. How do they prepare for their pension scheme ambayo itawachukua uzeeni. Unaona? Hiyo ndio kitu. Sasa the current player is suffering because imagine umekuwa kwa radio umetangazwa, then all of a sudden you don't have something to offer. Ndio watu kuangalia shindano chali, wewe alikuwa ni fala gani huyu?
Alikuwa
kama not famous.
Alikuwa kwa radio kila saa.
Congestina.
Sasa hiyo kitu watu wengi wamesafa na something needs to be done.
So like when it comes to the CBC, when they were creating like the curriculum, did the Ministry of Education come to you, ex-players, to ask you about it?
In fact, it is a two-way traffic. One, I blame all ex-players because leadership is not given. It is fought for. We've refused to. We just been blaming Nick Mwendwa. Nick Mwendwa amefanya hivi. Na wewe ujitokeza ndio wewe ndio simame pale. Wewe Abbas, wewe Masiga,
wewe Lichungu.
Bora pale. Okay, I will say mimi hata nimejaribu kwa sababu I've been an official at FC Leopards. There's a time the government also appointed me kwenda to turn around FC Leopards, remember? FC ilikuwa inaenda chini, then we were taken there. We turned it around in 2007-8, ikarudi Premier League, if you can remember that time. But ex-players do not want to participate in such. They only would like to complain every day, day in, day out. So I would urge the government to look into the life of our ex-players, what retirement scheme you can prepare for those players. And then another thing is insurance. You know, as you retire, you need to go to hospital. Sindio? There comes a time there was all injuries. Kama mimi niko na all injury hapa, unaona kama hii. Kama sasa inauma because of baridi. Kuna wengine wako juu wapi, wengine juu wapi. So hakuna kitu imewekwa in place to prepare these fellows. So many of them after they die ndio mnasikia Kadenga alikuwa anaumia, alikuwa hata alikuwa hadi sapa. Mnasikia stories that said so there's nothing they've arranged, but now with the CBC vile imetokea itasaidia sana, and I'm sure the government itaka in place hizo retirement za wachezaji na nini, because we'll benchmark from Europe to now. What do they do? Wanafanya nini ndio wachezaji wakae vizuri?
But again, from where I see it, unajua sasa the youth growing today, and they also want to be sports personalities. You know, pia they look at you people, because I think I would imagine wanaangalia wanaona pia mimi nikicheza mwishowe nitakuwa kama fulani. So I think it's also two ways, because even you, the bigger challenge I also want to give you, you and the legends and the older generation. I think it's also your generation that needs to come up and lead the way. As you say, leadership. At times we need to also benchmark from you. We need to also say kuna mwongozo that even us, even me at 16 years, I would like to play, but at my I would get to, let's say, we have seen football, we have seen administrators, coaches, commentaries, people who have also transitioned from playing to other.
You see, like I would say, ex-players, kuna jina unatengeza, si ndio? But you must, as a youth, hiyo jina babaka alikupatia, you have to propel that name. You have to uichukue, hiyo ndio nyota yako. Sasa kwa mfano, unaangalia Omanyala, this athlete. Hiyo Omanyala alikopi, kulikuwa na Omanyala mwingine, huyu amevunja rekodi ya 100 meters Kenya, huyu. Hata amechukua world nafikiri sasa. So our youth, believe in yourself, that you can. Mimi Lichungu ninaweza, si ati mimi nataka niitwe Maradona. Mimi ambaye jina ulipatiwa wewe, unataka upropel jina ufikishe pale. If everybody will strive to do that, tutaenda mbali sana. We shall go places. And then kila sawa serikali saidia na do it,
Yeah,
do it, go for it.
Yeah, exactly, because pia mimi nataka pia tutoke kwa serikali saidia na bakuli, because the generation which is listening and watching us sahi, they want to get inspiration of I'm a hockey player, I'm a swimmer, I'm a basketballer. I mean, what is I'm a netballer? So they also need to get that inspiration of saying in 10 years to come,
this is where I will be.
This is where I will be, and I'm seeing these are my legends, these are my mentors. Because I think from where I am also, ningependa a situation where we have more and more of your generation talking to us.
True.
Either in schools, in communities.
And also like paving a clear pathway. Because for example, if my younger brother wants to be an athlete, akikuja niambia Amal, I want to be an athlete, I want to know what to do.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about like what to do. Because I'm sure in like America or those countries
Vitu ziko in place.
Iko in place, you even mpaka unapatiwa scholarship ya university ukienda as an athlete, so you have to work in your high school. Hata grade zako tu zikwe somewhere, but athletic capability yako ikwe very strong. And even when you look at the money, they look at it as a career that will sustain you for ages and ages.
Kama mimi, the time I was at Upper Hill, I was in same class na Billy Conchela, and the other one alikuwa kitu nani, alikuwa Starehe, Paul Reng. These guys tumesoma nao, na wakati kuna mtu alikuwa amejua ku identify kama hawa tukua vitu gani, si ndio? So tuliwachana hao, nani kaenda chance nani Conchela. Hata shule alitoka akumaliza hapa ile, alitoka tu akaenda Europe. Kina Reng wakaenda upande ile, wengine wakaenda wapi? Sasa kama football Kenya, yani after playing for the two clubs or playing for the national team, your time ikiisha hakuna hata ile honor. Basi paka fans wanasema toa kiaria huyo if that's ndio unajua you are on your way out. It is so demoralizing. They
don't appreciate you.
They don't appreciate. Abbas alikuwa hapa kama I'm sure Ali. Abbas was a great goalkeeper. Huyo hata nikisema saa nyingine naangalia nasema
I think the appreciation, and I don't want to pour cold water, but I also think that we have not also had a lot of, to say legends, and I want to use that word, legends. We have not also seen a lot of you out here and being the shining examples. I'm saying that because for three reasons. Kwa heshima. One, we have had more complaints than solution.
Correct.
Number two, we have also had a lot of drugs and substance abuse, more so with the legends, depression, like we have also had that kind of downhill, which which will explain its perhaps expectations. We are here, then things went down. And three, and most important, is that there has not been what is called succession planning. Look, nasemanga, hii generation ikipita, this rugby generation, this swimming generation, this, who are the others?
Who's behind them?
Sasa, the truth is, there was a gap between your golden days. Na nyinyi mlivuma, mlipatia nchi sifa. But then something happened.
Hakukuwa na hiyo nini. Unajua sasa
what happened basically? From being placed here to no longer exist.
Sisi nimekuambia sasa, wakati ukijua unaenda kuretire, utasikia tu ukisema toa yeye. Kwa game inaendelea. Utafanya mistake, usikia fans wanashout huko juu. Na wewe ndio ule mmoja ulikuwa ulifunga jana mabao. Wamesahau what you did yesterday. Kila mtu anakujua. All the ladies in town, they would like to associate with you. But all of a sudden, nobody's now talking to you.
You no longer exist.
Will be done. So your preparation ya wachezaji kutoka now retirement plan ndio serikali haikuweka hata part even currently of the comfortably say there needs to be done. Something needs to be done. One, for the leading clubs, you see, you can't joke around with Manchester United or Arsenal in Europe. You don't. Hizo club ndio zinaletea serikali huko pesa, si ndio? Watu wanajua vitu zao daily. Sisi hapa Gor Mahia na FC Leopards hawana chochote, hata hawana kiwanja. I'm telling you the truth, hakuna kiwanja. Ukisha retire utaenda ofisi ya FC kwa wapi? Endo nionyeshe ofisi ya FC, endo nionyeshe. Ama unakutananga wapi?
And if you had the chance right now to talk to the government, kama unaweza angalia the camera, what would you
want to do?
Mimi ningeambia serikali waweke program in place whereby itaketa for these retirees. Tumejua time frame ya football ni miaka hii. Miaka 10. So in 10 years, when you're going to retire, maybe you've been turning out for national team. Ni nini itako in place? If you go in Uganda, unapata ex-players, wako na mataxis, they operate taxis. Hapa Kenya, I don't know, ilianza kutunyeshia lini. unatoka hapo most players suffer from depression. Number one, you want to go to a bar. Sikia tu ana shout, carry, mpe 3, mpe chupa 3. Mwingine mweke mzinga hapo, mwingine for how long? So watu wanaanza akienda kwa bar naambia wanasema ndio huyo sasa siku aliacha mpira ana chochote. Unaona? So the government should come up with a retirement plan ya hawa watu ambao wameheshimika.
Naam.
Watu wameheshimika, watu kama big names kama Mahmoud Abbas, Dr. Masiga, Bobby Ogola. These are big names ambapo wanataka retire wanaambiwa wewe. In other countries people watu wameletea sifa nchi. Wamepatiwa manyumba, mashamba. Sisi hapa Kenya.
They live comfortably.
Sisi hapa Kenya ndio unarudi tena bado unashindana na ule. Clark ulikuwa nao, wale walikuwa nao Kenya Ri. Sasa tunaanza kushindana na wale wanasema kumbe walikuwa wanatangaza tu bure na una kitu.
Na Kiari, nasaha yako ya mwisho on this topic?
Nasaha yangu ya mwisho ni one, kwa vijana. Waanze ku-identify what they can do. Number 2, from what I've learned from Peter Lichungu is we also have what is called youth administration, youth coaches. So pia wasigoje tu wasiseme ati youth coaches ni ya wazee. They start small, they start leadership now. Wasianze leadership after retirement, they start cultivating leadership qualities now. Ya mwisho kabisa ni kama Fariji, hii mwaka we are doing a lot of women football. Na tunasema
from ages of
women football under 12, under 15, under 17. Tunasema because tumesikia ndugu yetu Peter amesema that there was a lot of drive towards youth and change. But for us, we also concerned about gender equity. Tunataka pia wanawake wakuwe katika hiyo safari moja. Asante sana.
And that was all from us. I hope you enjoyed today's topic, and thank you so much, Peter, for coming in and gracing our studios to tell your story as well. Kuwapatia government nasaha on youth and sports. I was your host, Amal Latif. It was lovely to have you.
Thank you.
Adhan brought to you by Al Hayr Foundation. Isomix has petroleum.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن